Yo, what's up, gamers? Aaron Shack here, and we're live checking out the latest footage here from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is another one of their dev diaries. This is Suicide Squad Insider Episode 3, introducing Elseworlds. Okay, cool. How's everyone doing today? I wanted to jump in and do some coverage on this. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I haven't seen it yet, and I'm excited to do a deep dive on this, give it the Aaron Shack breakdown and analysis here, and kind of a live, raw reaction to what's going on here. I've seen some bits and pieces online, but like I've purposefully tried to like tune everything out because I'm like, man, I want to watch the thing in its entirety. I don't want to see like 1 or 2 minute, blips on Twitter or something like that. I want to be able to watch it, start to finish and go back and forth. So I hope everyone's having a good time. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, we will go from there. Anything you want to point out. But yeah, we'll do the usual deep dive here. So let's dig in.
Computer, activate the threat assessment matrix.
All right. Toys, lighted.
Okay, they're showing off the cosmetics here. We'll definitely loop back
We can work with that.
to further assess.
I'm Darius Sadigian, studio director at Rocksteady Studios. In our last episode, we talked about how Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League allows players to customize each character and their playstyle through story-driven mechanics.
Man, if you gave me 5 minutes in there, you'd have the world's authority on microtech and all my inventions.
Aw, he's so sweet. He's not gonna make it.
Not gonna
The
make it.
Suicide Squad gave us the scope, the narrative, the gameplay, and then the idea of being able to expand that, be able to take this further. It's going to feel completely fresh.
Okay.
In that
Yeah, my
spirit,
interest.
we want to deliver totally new content at no cost for those who purchase Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
We're back in business.
All right, let's steal their shit.
Today we'll discuss
right,
customization
one
options
quick-
that draw from
no.
the full spectrum of
Hang on. We can't let that ride. One quick pause. All right. Do we remember when Marvel's Avengers said the same thing? They were like, yeah, we're going to give you new characters, new content, everything. It's all free. And then it's like they can't make enough money to continue like supporting the game. Now, granted, maybe these games are not meant to be massively long-term, decade-long things, like Destiny or World of Warcraft or The Division or something like that. So I don't know. I get a little nervous. Let's go back and hear it again. But it's like we've heard this before, and it's a great move, right? Like it's really cool. Like very pro-consumer, right? Because like we don't have to constantly, pay every time expansions come, and not everyone can afford that stuff. I would much rather be charged for it and have it be high quality stuff. I said it about Avengers. I say it about every game. Even Destiny, I don't mind the 30, 50, whatever dollars a year for the expansion that introduces, new characters, new mechanics, new worlds to explore, new subclasses, new abilities, all sorts of great stuff, new weapons and gear, right? And that's pretty much what this game and Avengers and a lot of other games in these genres attempt to do. But doing it all for free makes it really difficult. Thank you for that subscription. Hope you're enjoying the content on the channel. So yeah, it's tricky to keep the game alive when cosmetics are the only thing you charge for. Because not everybody is going to invest in cosmetics. And when you have games on Game Pass and stuff like that, you already have people not buying your game, essentially, quote unquote. But, this title, we haven't heard anything about it being on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. So I think it's probably, a game that you'll probably have to purchase, at least for the time being. So, yeah, in terms of all the content moving forward, being free, characters, seasons, all that, I would say just err on the side of caution. I just really hope that doesn't come back to bite them like it did for Avengers. I think that's a huge red flag? I don't know if red flag would be the word, but it is a thing that triggers me. There are, I agree on this. Jay here has a really good point. I don't know when this comment dropped. Hang on. There's so much. And I lost your comment. I have a little thing here that helps me pull up this stuff. Oh my god, it's gonna do it every time someone says something. It's gonna scroll down. Yeah, here it is. There's so many stories that they can pull from. Which, yeah, I agree. I thought that about Avengers. I was like, dude, like, live service, it makes sense. It's such a good blueprint. Because they could just pull from, like, any issue of the Avengers, or they could even do, like, side stories of each of the characters, delve into their origin stories, or have their own sort of campaigns that are about each character, and you could kind of see this game doing the same. It's a never-ending well to tap from, right? So, it could be a good thing, but I also just wish... Is it weird to say I wish they would charge us money for it? Because, I mean, I want the studio to do well. I want everyone to be compensated properly for their work. And I want to make sure that this can continue to live. So, thus, I want to continue to support said game. But when you make everything free, it's like a year or two later, we're going to hear about the studio shutting down, the game or whatever. So, I just don't want to see it. So, we'll see. But yeah, it's all Warner Brothers, so yeah, you do have the power to mess with a lot of DC properties here. And the interesting thing probably that they're going to tap into about this Elseworlds stuff is that, a lot of it doesn't have to be canon. They could just pull in, Polka Dot Man or something, and it doesn't have to be canon within, this Arkhamverse here as we're going. Yeah, that's also true. They're not having to pay the licenses like Square and Crystal Dynamics did because they already have the license because they're, it's Rocksteady under WB, under DC Comics, all of this all together. I do wonder if Rocksteady has to pay for licensing even if they're under that umbrella. Is there still some sort of protocol where it's like they still have to pay for it? And it just all loops back around, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah. This is a great game to play solo forever and ever. Hey, that's what's so cool, is that you can choose to play it however you want to play it, right? It's a great co-op game with friends. From what I've played in the closed alpha, which they did drop the NDA on, so I can talk about my experiences from that. But yeah, I think it's great in both contexts. So yeah, let's get back to it. But I just saw that this sentence right here was kind of a red flag for me, and it makes me nervous about the game's long-term future.
Today we'll discuss
right here.
customization options that draw from the full spectrum of DC Comics. You'll see emotes, rival taunts, outfits, and more. We wanted to have a game that was very focused, but this time we really want to expand out with being able to dynamically update, add new content, take on feedback, and evolve the game over time. For the first time ever, we'll give you a preview of what's to come after the credits roll on our main story campaign. We always designed the game in a way that we really wanted it to be accessible for everyone. And for those players that want to delve even deeper into our gameplay and into our systems, it really is about delivering new places to explore, new worlds to be in, new stories, new characters, and creating unique ways for you to play.
We're gonna give you the content you love.
Oh my god.
What are you doing, mate? I'm smiling.
Let's dive into
Oh, that smile does not...
Insider.
Can we go back, dude? That smile.
I'm smiling.
No, that smile, dude.
What are you doing, mate?
That doesn't look natural, dude. That looks scary.
Let's dive into Suicide Squad Insider
That's
Episode
so
3.
funny. I'm smiling.
Welcome to Task Force X.
From the onset, Suicide Squad, being a squad, felt like the right fit for the kind of game that we wanted to make. You get to play with friends, you get to play on your own, but while you are playing on your own, you're playing with a squad.
This is a
Always.
cool feature, too.
Every aspect of our
Social
games,
Squad.
we always look at it through the lens of Rocksteady's treatment. And that just doesn't stop at gameplay, that doesn't stop at story. When we're looking at the social features that we've really introduced into Suicide Squad, it has Rocksteady's approach. What do we think players will have fun with?
This game has the mechanics to play kind of socially competitively, like none of our games have previously, and it really fits the characters of the squad.
Interesting.
Multiplayer, we're leaning into the competition within the squad to show off your skills, show off your mettle, be the best one.
I
I'm a freaking
I think-
superstar.
think for this, me and Brittany talked about this when we were playing the game, about the sort of competitive edge that is in this co-op game, and I think we both kind of found it annoying that after each like mission or activity or whatever, it'd basically bring up a leaderboard and be like, you know, so and so has the high score, they got the most kills, so and so got the most assists, this one had the most revives, whatever, you know, like that type of thing. And it, you know, when you just want to play a co-op game with friends, like you just want to cut loose and have fun. You don't want to be like looking at the leaderboard and realizing that your friend with their ridiculous OP build is like absolutely trampling you. So I don't know. It's, you know, it doesn't hurt me that this is in here. It's totally fine. But like for me, I'm just like, that's kind of I disagree on that, on bringing in competitive elements to a co-op game. But I kind of get it, because the Suicide Squad, you know, they're not allies. They're, you know, they're just put together by circumstances, you know, so there is that sort of like competitive edge to these criminals, as it were. But yeah, I think we just found that upsetting. Like, you know, if one of us was running one way or the other, and maybe one of us was doing more of a collectible hunt while the other was killing lots of enemies, or maybe one of us was struggling with certain elements in the game, or one of us was in the menu for a little bit and the other was out getting loads and loads of kills and completed the activity. It could just be like super demotivating. And so those are the things I worry about when playing a game like this in co-op, is like once you go in the pause menu, or if not everybody's on the same page, going the same direction to the same fight, then you're going to end up with lower scores than your teammates. You're going to essentially just kind of feel kind of bad for, you know, not being as good as your other friends. And there might just be, you know, maybe you're just not the best player out of your group of friends, and now the game's just gonna, you know, rub it in with this, you know, after match stats report. So I disagree. I don't love it too much. Let me go back a little bit so you guys can get more context on that again. But it was something that was in the alpha that I wasn't crazy about. What's up, Kong? How you doing?
Into the competition within the squad to show off your skills, show off your mettle, be the best one.
Yeah, I just don't dig it. Maybe they'll show it on screen. I don't know.
Superstar.
The squad are working together under duress. And so it's fun to add in mechanics to encourage the players to behave in the same way. So a lot of the time what you'll actually be doing is trying to get the highest score, which luckily helps you all complete the mission, but the
There it
best
is.
player
I don't know why
in
it's
any mission
not doing my keyboard shortcuts here.
to encourage the players to behave in the same way. So a lot of the time what you'll actually be doing is
Yeah, so like right here, it's like telling you this person's the winner, and this happens after like every match,
trying to
every
get the highest
activity.
score, which
And then right here, it's got, you know, at the bottom of the screen, it's got your leaderboard ranking, 1, 2, 3, 4. You got your rewards, your report, all that stuff. I'm just not super crazy about this. I know some people will love it because in lieu of having actual PvP in the game, you know, some people are just super competitive and they love it. And even when they're playing co-op games, you know, they want to find ways to compete. So I get it. It's just, I feel like maybe not everybody, but a portion of people will be, you know, just kind of like, ugh, this really sucks. But I guess you could just kind of skip the screen, you know, just be like, hey, everybody, ready up, let's go, get out of here. Or just play it solo if you're not interested.
Luckily helps you all complete the mission, but the best player in any mission becomes...
Yeah, I'm definitely buying. Listen, I'm not... No. Listen, just because you caught me in a moment where I disagree with one small point of the design philosophy does not mean I'm not buying this game. I'm already sold. They got me. But yeah, there's just a couple of things like the whole everything's all content moving forward is free once you own the game. That's kind of a red flag because Avengers did it and Avengers is no longer here. And then also the same with the leaderboard. I just don't like it because it's a co-op game and you're trying to force PvP vibes on it.
Complete the mission, but the best player in any mission becomes the...
I just love that they went for the whole make it feel like you're actually the squad vibes with the competitiveness, because I bet they compare kills after every match. I kind of get that, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's like what I brought up where I was kind of saying that, like, you know, the squad, they're a bunch of criminals. Like, they're not friends, you know, they're not allies. They're just kind of forced to work together in a really terrible situation. And so, yeah, they probably kind of would in a friendly, like, Lord of the Rings type way, you know, the way Legolas and Gimli were constantly comparing kills, even though they're on the same team and, you know, they love each other, they care for each other, you know, they protect each other, they would lay down each other's lives for each other. You know, that's a much more co-op vibe there. So I get it. It's just like, I don't know. Anyway, here we are.
Squad leader in multiplayer for the next mission.
Oh, and that's what causes the best player becomes squad leader.
Player in any mission becomes the squad leader in multiplayer for the next mission.
That was happening in the alpha, and I don't think they explained that at all. And I was like, this is weird. Like, why does the host essentially keep migrating? I was like, that's really weird. But yeah, you have to do that. I hope there's not one-shot builds, but I imagine there will be. I imagine there's going to be, you know, some ridiculous way that you can, you know, spec out your character. But I will just say that I will not be using one-shot builds, and I won't be playing with anyone who uses one-shot builds. I will leave or kick from the session. It's just not fun. It's not fun to be able to just kill everything instantly. There's no threat of death or risk or anything like that involved. Appreciate you, new subscriber, coming in. Hope you're enjoying the content on the channel. We're doing a live breakdown of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, their Insider Episode 3 on Elseworlds. So let's see what I got here.
We have leaderboards for solo play, for playing with one.
Okay, let's go back. Hang on. Oh boy. Yeah, this is really going to be...
We have
try to pause it.
For
I just wanted to
solo.
see. Flying Solo, Finite Crisis rank is an aggregate of all mastery levels from incursion missions. Mayhem mission is not included. Interesting. Yeah, so you can see like how you stack up maybe against your friends or globally, which is what it's doing here as a global.
Play for playing with one friend, two friends, or a 4-player squad.
Okay.
You're competing
against other squads. Just want a straightforward linear game with a great story. Constant adding of stories, missions, but I want it to feel like I'm watching a Suicide Squad movie. I mean, I think that's kind of what they're delivering here. But yeah, they are going to give you those live service elements of... So, I mean, it's got the Rocksteady DNA that they are going to tell you a great story. Like, this, like, even though the gameplay is different, like the cutscenes and everything are just like the Arkham games. They have that narrative, the story, the lore, the dialogue, everything that sinks its hooks into you. I disliked the Suicide Squad, and I love this game already. So, like, I have no interest in the Suicide Squad. Really don't. But because I love DC characters, and, you know, it's kind of growing on me a little bit, then, you know, this is actually a win here. So, they are giving you kind of what you want, but at the same time, yeah, they are going to give you the live service, you know, grind for gear, you know, stats and blah, 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 which, you know, I'm sure there might be some ways that you can kind of just equip the best stuff and shrug it off and not sweat the details and just kind of level up your character and just kind of not really care too much about it. But, you know, for the ones that want to dive deep in and try to get the best builds and the best weapons and, you know, come up with a play style that suits the way they want to play, you got it. So, yeah, it's probably going to be grindy, and you probably are going to have to play the same missions. So, if you're expecting them not to do this, you would be wrong. Every live service game does this. So yeah, I would say that's the one thing, buyer beware, right? Like, so, I mean, you could just play through the whole story and call it a day. But if you want to stick around for the Elseworlds content here and whatever else comes next, seasons, you know, you might be compelled to level up your character and get better gear and stuff like that and move forward in that sense. But yeah. That confession is new. Dude, you're trying to derail this whole stream right now with this comment right here. I just don't, like, I don't have the villain worship thing. I don't particularly care about members of the Suicide Squad. I like Superman. I like Batman. I like Constantine. You know, I like reading Justice League. I don't read a lot of the villain stuff where they're like, where they have like the Injustice League and all these, you know, all these different, you know, villain versions of groups and stuff. And while I'll admit, Arrow did the Suicide Squad really well, I think the Suicide Squad movies are pretty cool. This game's obviously really cool, and it's definitely growing on me. But, like, I just don't, yeah, I would rather have a Justice League game than this. So, it's a hard sell for me, but they got me. They really did get me. So, it's, yeah, dude wants to derail this entire gameplay breakdown. Because he knows I'll go on a rant for hours on that. But yeah, that's my best quick summary where we don't derail the whole stream. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, it's all right. You know, different strokes for different folks, right? So yeah, right here comparing squads. I mean, this could be fun. I just don't like comparing the inner members of the squad because it's just gonna be, you're just gonna be bickering back and forth between your friends. You know, you suck, ha ha ha. But maybe that mentality is
with everyone across the world, cross-platform, it is the best of the best.
Think you're hot shit on taste, but you're cold fart on bread.
Also, look at all these cosmetics, like different hairstyles and color outfits. The hairstyle.
There's some really fun incentives for playing together as well as playing competitively. You can use the equipment that other players have equipped on their characters in your squad with the AI playing as the characters. And those
right. So
who
this is the oh my god, I just clicked it like twice and it's sake, YouTube. Yeah, this is the social squad thing, which basically, let's say I'm playing as King Shark. And I'm playing solo. None of my friends are online. I'm playing solo. But let's say that J-Star's Captain Boomerang, you know, because we're friends, I can have his Captain Boomerang on my squad. And it will give him resources for his avatar being in my game. So there is something to be gained from it. But it doesn't mean that Jay is actually playing with me, because maybe he's at work or something, right? And it's just kind of a fun way to play with your friends without playing with your friends. Forza's done this with the driver avatars, where it's like, even if you're doing a race solo, you can pull in your friends' drivatar profiles, and the driver that's in the car will drive the way your friends drive. So if your friend is a really good racer, they'll be really good. If your friend likes to crash into other cars, you know, your drivatar will do that. Well, in this case, it's pretty much whatever gear and skills you have equipped to your said character here. I'll just be able to pick. I can either play with my squad as I want, or I can swap out people and say, like, oh, I want to play with J-Star's Boomerang, or I want to play with Kong's Deadshot. I want to play with Brittany's Harley Quinn. However it may be, right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Because they are, you know, there's people that want to play solo, and there's people that want to, you know, enjoy it for what it is. And some people enjoy playing as a group all the time, but sometimes maybe not all your members of the group can be there for a play session. I don't think I'm gonna speed run the story. I wouldn't say that. I just want to enjoy it. Although I do admit it will be hard to control myself and not want to just, you know, enjoy the game so much and just not stop playing it. So I mean, that could be a real issue there. We're actually gonna get into that about the adding characters and stuff. We will go from there. Yeah, kind of like the spirit animals in Zelda, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, more or less, kind of the idea. That's a good comparison.
The AI playing as the characters. And those players whose bots you use get rewards for you using those bots.
Let me just make sure.
And that's a really fun feature that I think the players will be incentivized because they'll get something out of doing too.
Farewell.
We also have the rival taunt system, where on the leaderboards, if you pass your friends or anyone on your friends list who's also playing the game and you beat their score, well, next time they log in, they'll get this kind of funny quip just to show that, oh yeah, by the way, I beat you.
Oh my god, they're really going all in on the
game,
PvP vibe.
You're logging in, and then all of a sudden on your screen you get Boomerang giving you the finger.
There you go.
I think fans are going to have a great time with RMA.
Oh, once again, the cosmetics that are in the game will allow us to equip some of the Justice League costumes. So yeah, there you go.
I think fans are going to have
It's
a
a
great
good
time
look.
with RMA.
It actually does look pretty cool.
Allowing players to kind of communicate in different ways, really in playful ways.
It's playful, yeah.
As Rocksteady has created.
Hang on, let's go back. What was that?
Different ways, really in playful ways.
Demon Bat in Gotham? I wonder if that's a reference to Man Bat or something.
As Rocksteady, as creators, this was another opportunity for us to really engage with our characters, extend them.
Oh my gosh. I like these looks. A lot of different hairstyles, different clothing options, different colors.
The narrative through the player's choices with a very
that's King Shark's
eye.
classic outfit. Oh my god, dude. How sick does this look? This looks so cool, right? Yeah, the Justice League skins are so good. They knew what they were doing there. Absolutely, 100%. And as you can see, it's like Deadshot took his own spin on it, right? Whereas Captain Boomerang just straight up put on Flash's like battle damaged costume, and it's kind of interesting, pretty cool. And once again, we can kind of see how, you know, these arm cannons here, the gauntlets, are gonna do different elemental damage. So yeah, it's really cool to see how some of the gear is looking. But yeah, this is so cool that you can basically
Through
just...
the game, we offer many customization options and outfits to the player. You start off in the prison, you get your prison garbs, and then you evolve to the Task Force X outfits.
Yeah, right.
She didn't want to wear the Arkham skirt.
Fashion forward.
Arkham Asylum. Oh, we got like a lava set here. All right, this is giving me flashbacks to Avengers, man. This is Remember when they did the lava outfits too? I don't know. Anyway, it looks cool though. Okay, we got like a blue Arkham Asylum jumpsuits. Deadshot's got like a G.I. Joe looking thing going on with the hoodie. Okay. Sleeveless hoodie, man. I gotta say, I don't get it. I don't get it. Are you cold? Are you hot? What are you trying to do? Do you need the hood? Is the hood because you're cold, or is the hood for, you know, shady criminal element stuff, you know? Do you need to go into anonymous Assassin's Creed mode? Not sure. Give me the Injustice skins. That would be wild, dude. But yeah, I think we could see sort of a certain level of customization. So yeah, in the game, we were able to customize like our outfit, and then we were able to customize like our head, which would be hair, hats, and for Deadshot, it could be like mask on, mask off, stuff like that. Clearly for King Shark, it might be, maybe he'll have like fin customizations. Harley's got like different hairstyles and hair colors as well. So I don't know. It's all pretty interesting. I think it's really cool.
Customization game.
Oh, what is that? That's okay. I did see this outfit for King Shark. That's actually some dope looking designs there. Huh. Yeah, it just gave me like a Red Hood vibe for a second, but maybe that's not exactly what's happening there. But the jacket looks dope, right? And Harley's got that like goth girl looking outfit with the tattoos and the
game is
dark hair color. Oh my god, why did it go so fast, dude? The
outfit customization game is...
Dude, it goes... I just wanted to see at the very end what... Oh, he's just wearing, like, striped prison garbs there. Yeah, being able to play as all the characters. Yeah. I guess we'll see when it comes out, because I haven't really gotten any info on this of, like... Let's say I start the game playing as Deadshot, and I get like a quarter of the way through, and I just kind of decide I want to mix it up and play as Captain Boomerang. Will I have XP built up for him, or do I need to start over the campaign as him, or can I just switch over as him? Will I be screwed over in terms of level and not being caught up with my friends and stuff like that? And as someone that really wants to enjoy all aspects of the game and play as multiple characters, you know, is it ill-advised to do it in one playthrough? That's something I'd like clarification on. And yes, there is and Kong was asking for this from Avengers, so he's going to be screaming right now. But you can switch characters in the game. Like, when me and Jay were doing missions, it was like he had the ability to switch between two characters, and I had the ability. And if I was playing solo, I could just switch, you know, at will. It brings up like a little radial menu, and you can just, yeah, I know. He wanted it really bad. And I was like, Avengers isn't that type of game. It's not Ultimate Alliance. But I guess this game just kind of heard what Kong was saying and was like, you know what? Try me. Let's do it. But yeah, you obviously can't switch, you know, when you have like I think like a full squad. I don't think you can actually switch players at that point. But yeah, dude's excited, man. So yeah, if you're going solo and you just feel like switching it up, and that's what I'm kind of wondering here is, and that's also my concern is like, I want to play this with friends because I know it's a lot of fun with friends. But I also kind of want to play it solo to explore everything there is to explore. I want to listen to all the audio tapes. I want to, you know, go stare at billboards and find little Easter eggs, you know, newspapers on the ground or something, you know, whatever it may be. So there's part of me that wants that because there is a certain hustle and bustle when you're in a co-op session. You can't, you know. you can't really stop and look at stuff or listen to audio tapes when your buddies are, blasting and blowing shit up and progressing the story, but you're over here reading some lore or something like that. Yes, you can be the same character, but I'm against it. I think it's stupid. It's cool that it's in the game. Don't get me wrong. You can have 4 Deadshots on the team if you want. But I believe that each character's archetype is so unique and fun, and the dialogue that is shared between the characters is so good that you're doing yourself a disservice by having more than one of the same player. So play however you want, but I feel like for max experience of the story, I don't think they designed dialogue for there to be 2 Deadshots in one session. So basically what you're doing is, if you have 2 Deadshots, Boomerang and King Shark, then you're never going to hear Harley Quinn and what she has to say while you're in combat and stuff like that. And you're not going to hear 2 Deadshots bantering in some weird, multiverse context. They didn't go quite that far with it. That would be crazy. Yeah, so I know people are going to do it, and there's a novelty for it. It's fun, and it's cool that you and your buddies don't have to fight over who gets to be King Shark or whatever. It's really cool, right? But I think story-wise and just, enjoying the skills and abilities of all the characters, it just makes sense for everybody to just pick a character. And, maybe switch it up later on or in a second playthrough or something, So I have yet to see on that. That's a big question that I have, is that if I want to switch characters, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it ill-advised? Do they have a way to work around that? We'll see.
Is vast, to say the least.
A lot of customization here. I love the classic outfits,
With this game, Rocksteady will deliver a full story-driven campaign to players, including more cinematics than any previous Arkham game. For players who survive the story-driven campaign
Let's hear that again.
With this game, Rocksteady will deliver a
This
full
is what Kong wanted to hear, right?
With this game, Rocksteady will deliver a full story-driven campaign to players, including more cinematics than any previous Arkham game. For players who survived the war against Brainiac's forces and want to keep the adventure going, Rocksteady is ready.
Okay, another quick comment on the history of live service games here. Every time there's been a live service game since Destiny and The Division, I have always prefaced every game that's come out. Anthem, Avengers, this one, just anything that's come out and tried to do the same formula. I say, please, learn from the companies that came before you. Look at the mistakes that Bungie made. Try to correct it before you launch the game. Anthem was, they were too, kind of snooty. They were like, we know everything, gamers, even if you're well-versed in live service, you can't tell us what to do. And then they went, they went out, Didn't last very long because they didn't take meaningful player feedback. They didn't learn from other games and their successes and failures. And even Division, has had its ups and downs. Destiny has had its ups and downs. And Avengers did the same thing. Even though Gotham Knights isn't live service, it has live service elements that you would expect in a live service game. So, it's like none of them learned from each other. And that's why, we're probably not talking about Gotham Knights too much. We're not, Avengers was a lot of fun, but it was an imperfect experience, and it could have been better had they been more prepared for the live service elements, and had they, studied, and maybe they did study, and maybe they just chose to go a different way. But I think it's important that you study what everyone else is doing in the field and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And then if you disagree, then, if you say, I'm going to do this anyway, even though it didn't work when Destiny did it, then, go your own way and try to brainstorm, like, how can we actually make it work? So it feels like Rocksteady, from every video I've seen, from the gameplay, from everything, it seems like they've been studying live service games, Live Service 101, and they've been trying to avoid every pitfall, like not having endgame ready, Not having, battle pass content be compelling, not having enough cosmetics to lure people in and get people excited, not having monetization options set up so that they can continue to make money off the game. There's all sorts of things. You don't want things to be dead. You don't want there to not be any grind for the people that finish it. You want to have difficulty modifiers and all sorts of things. You want to have an in-game economy with all the weapons and the gear and the currencies that you're unlocking to purchase different things, all this stuff. You want to have all that done ahead of time. So it seems like they're doing a really good job here. We'll see on day one, but this is a really good sign. So in terms of me sort of assessing this game, is it worth your money? Is it not worth your money? It seems like they are legitimately passionate and trying to do their best to try to make the best live service game.
Very much knew we had a story
in
to
the
tell
DC
initially,
universe.
and then we wanted to carry on feeding into that, and then changing up the gameplay to have a game that was going to evolve through
It's going to evolve,
content.
okay.
Suicide Squad Kill the
Post-launch
Justice League
content.
is going to be one of the most generous, player-friendly, post-launch experiences available.
That's crazy, dude. Are you hearing what these guys are saying? It's absolutely wild.
And then we wanted to carry on feeding into that, and then changing up the gameplay to have a game that was going to evolve.
So not only is essentially New Game Plus already in the game, right? Or whatever. This whole Elseworlds thing, these, enhanced difficulties that you're going to be able to tap into and test your builds and stuff like that. Also, dude, check out this guy's desk. A couple of the Batman Arkham figurines there and some other stuff, some Legos and whatnot. That's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, here we go.
Through post-launch content.
The Daily Cackle. So it looks like Joker has done his own spin on the Daily Planet.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to be one of the most generous, player-friendly, post-launch experiences available.
One of the most generous, player-friendly, post-launch experiences available. That's some tough talk, dude. They're going to have to back it up. But I see it. I see the vision. I understand what they're trying to do. Okay.
Every season we will have 2 episodes. Each season there's going to be a different spin on how you play, and will be heavily themed by a DC villain. So there's many, many layers of influence from the DC world on how you play and what you do.
The seasonal content gets automatically dropped into the game each episode. There's no playable content locked behind a battle pass, and the in-game shop is for cosmetics only.
Let's go back. Let's rewind in case you weren't paying attention. Seasonal content gets automatically dropped into the game with each episode. They're not hiding missions behind the battle pass. It's only cosmetics on the battle pass.
Each episode. There's no playable content locked behind a battle pass, and the in-game shop is for cosmetics.
Also, can we realize that this is Arkham Asylum from the games? Like, they're literally dropping the Arkham Asylum that we know and love, that we explored in Batman Arkham Asylum.
To the game each episode. There's no playable content locked
That's
behind
so
a battle
cool.
pass, and the in-game shop is
It's going to be a walk down memory lane
You'll
here.
always be able to go back and play the episodic content. If you want to come back 6 months from now, that'll always be there.
This is a totally player-friendly approach.
Oh, so you mean they're not going to do a Destiny thing where they just wipe out content and vault it? It's almost like they're learning from the mistakes of other companies. And of course, they're getting ahead of, the thing that happened with Avengers, which was like there were some missions that weren't replayable and stuff like that. And they even had it where the campaign wasn't replayable for a while. I mean, they're getting ahead of all this stuff. So, I mean, this is really great to hear. Whoever engineered this and like scripted this video, storyboarded it, whatever, everything that's gone into this video so far has been like, we need to address this, and this that live service games consistently get wrong, and let's try to do it right. It's like, holy crap, man. Like, there's a college class on live service games that we're sitting in right now.
6 months from now, that'll always be there.
This is a totally
always there.
approach to
Jump
letting
in,
you play
play
the content you want to play when you want.
When you want.
The DC universe is massive, and in most games, you can only see or explore a tiny, tiny piece of it. But what's really cool about the narrative of Kill the Justice League is there's almost no limit on where we can go.
Celebrating before the game is over.
In his pursuit of trying to recreate his perfect Kolu, Brainiac has been experimenting with some of our favorite DC characters' DNA, creating new worlds in alternate realities. It's these worlds that we call Elseworlds.
Interesting.
Brainiac is a genius of 12th level.
Okay, so we had some interesting stuff. This is clearly a Batman-themed world. We're seeing the GCPD. You know, we saw parts of Arkham Asylum. We're seeing parts of, you know, I was about to say Arkham City, but I mean, that's accurate, but also Gotham, right?
Worlds that we call Elseworlds.
And then this looks like a whole Mr. Freeze spin right here, so that could be interesting.
Brainiac is a genius of 12th level intelligence.
Oh, this guy's voicing Brainiac, Jason Isaacs.
But he's also trying to rebuild this civilization that he misses and is lost, and there is nothing he won't do to get there. New Kolu will be reborn. He's building a model of the multiverse. It's all gathering data.
That's so crazy. This is so perfectly Brainiac. Him literally creating multiple universes to like study and capture and, you know, just tapping into the multiverse so that he can just have unlimited knowledge and power and create anything he wants.
Unlock your full potential to serve me.
That's crazy. They got it, man.
There's
it's on
different
point.
versions of everybody in different universes.
All right, this is kind of your Joker-themed Elseworld, I guess.
There's different versions
Ace Chemicals
of everybody in different universes.
Here we got Batman, Superman teaming up, Skull Ship, aliens, conspiracy theories. Okay.
And their timelines have just diverged at some point.
What's a Brainiac? Yeah, here's your Mr. Freeze theme thing. But I'm wondering here, are all the Elseworlds gonna essentially, I mean, is it all gonna look the same at some point? You know, if it's all these like chunks of islands, you know, floating out in the void, and you know, one season it's Gotham, you know, one season it's, you know, Mr. Freeze, Frozen Wasteland or whatever. Or one season it's, you know, the Joker's Fun House or whatever kind of theme. Will it just sort of look like reskinned environments, right? I worry about that. It could start to feel samey, even if, you know, a lot of effort is being put in, and, you know, the art team is there, and the designs, and everything's, like, super cool. I worry that it could be judged differently because it's not a whole new environment or a whole new theme or taking us to a totally different place. It's just going to be a bunch of floating rocky islands. Brainiac's an AI with a body. I mean, kind of. I mean, super sophisticated intelligence. You know, alien. He's one of my favorite Superman villains. I'll give you that. Yeah, I think him and Lex are up there. Those are like number one, tied for the best. But yeah.
We've got lots of amazing characters coming up in seasonal play that I'm really excited for players to meet. And the Elseworld Principles gives us lots of flexibility and lots of room to put our own spin on them.
Got your multiverse.
So, we get to play with a bunch of cool shit from alternate universes, and then what? Retire?
When Season 1 launches this March, you'll be able to unlock a new playable character for your squad, the Joker.
At least buy me dinner first.
I hadn't heard his voice yet until this moment. Is that Handsome Jack? Is that Handsome Jack? Who's voicing him, dude? Who is voicing him? And also, okay, I'm not trying to dogpile. I think he looks cool. I think the model's dope. But the costume just makes me think of like a Fortnite character. Like, this is what Joker would look like if they brought him into Fortnite. Like, I like
a new playable character for your
I like the face, right? Like the Silver Age, you know, classic, you know, hairstyle, the makeup, the clown smile, you know, the big, like, V-shaped, you know, super scary, really heavily, you know, yellow teeth smile from that era of comics. You know, a lot of that stuff that I grew up reading and had, like, bedtime storybooks of Batman and Joker and stuff like that generally, you know, genuinely put fear into my bones. It's really good. But this outfit just reminds me of like a court jester. And why does every single layer have patterns on it? Like his cummerbund is digi camo that's green. His pants are striped green. He's got like, you know, paisley vest. I can't tell. It's like plus signs or fleur-de-lis on his yellow shirt. You know, it's like they definitely got the colors right, but it's like it's so flashy and it's so Fortnite-esque that I'm not really crazy about this. I would be excited to see what some of his other outfits look like. Can we do like a quick derail here? Who is voicing Joker in Suicide? I don't know if we know this yet. Have they announced that? Is Joker? Yes, we know that. I don't see anything here immediately. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see anything. But
At least buy me dinner first.
Unlock a new playable character.
I mean, it's not Mark Hamill's Joker. It makes sense. I think it was a good play to go with an Elseworld Joker so that you don't have to deal with the legacy of the Arkham games. You don't have to revive Joker from the spoilers. You don't have to bring Joker back, right? From the events of the Arkham games. I don't know.
Your squad. When Season 1 launches this March, you'll be able to unlock a new playable character for your squad, the Joker.
At least buy me dinner first.
But it makes sense. Like, Joker has always been, in most designs, he's been like a tall, lanky, kind of, you know, creepy looking, you know. So, I mean, I think the proportions are fine. I think the design is good. It's just the outfit that's really weird.
Arkham vs. Joker has been dead for 5 years, but this is a new Elseworlds twist on the villain. He was...
Yeah, that nailed it. Like, right? This is 100% right here. Like, you know, this is not Jared Leto's Joker. This is, you know, this is like 100%, you know, 2 thumbs up. Nailed the look there. We can argue about the costume, but like this right here, that's quintessential right there.
Joker has been dead for 5 years, but this is a new Elseworlds twist on the villain.
Wait, what is that?
Joker has been dead for 5 years.
What is
but
he
this
rocking?
Is a new Elseworlds twist on.
Is he? This is like a... Am I crazy? Is he rocking a Kusarigama? Is that... I mean, essentially modified, right? Like, instead of having the spike or something on the end, he's got like a boxing glove with spikes on it, which is... It's just so comical. Oh, and look at this. I didn't even notice, but he's got a prosthetic leg. That's interesting. So, Elseworld Joker had some stuff going on right there. Oh, they just said today in a Q&A. Okay. J.P. Carliak? Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Can we... Let's see. Can we see if he's done anything else? Let's see. What else? Let's see. He was Boss Baby in the Boss Baby Back in Business. He was Reese in the Batman the Killing Joke animated film. Adler Kemp in Starfield. He was an additional voice in Spider-Man 2. Dr. Nefarious Tropy in Crash Team Rumble. Chovak in Star Trek Resurgence. Cartel Droid 2 in Star Wars The Bad Batch. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really like recognizing him from like anything that I've played. Yeah, it seems like he's being credited a lot for like being additional voices in various games and animated films and stuff like that. That's really cool. Okay, so maybe they kind of just like brought in I don't want to say an unknown. I feel like that's insulting. I mean, this guy's clearly got a really good portfolio built up. It looks like some of his first roles were in 95, 96. So, I mean, he's got a solid career there. That's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, maybe it is, you know, they usually do that for like every time they cast a new Superman, they'll go with like an unknown or something, you know? Like they don't always go with like Tom Cruise or something, you know? They don't go with someone that's huge.
He was part of the Suicide Squad in the Elseworld that he's from, which already shows that he's slightly more cooperative than the previous Joker.
Oh, so that's interesting. In his world, he is part of the Suicide Squad.
He is, but this...
I legit thought we were going to blast through this because it's only 10 minutes, but like the way that I want to slowly break things down and talk about everything here, it's really, I don't know, worthwhile and interesting. It's really cool that there's so much here to absorb and to break down and to talk about.
This is a new Elseworlds twist on the villain.
He was part of the Suicide Squad in the Elseworld that he's from, which already shows that he's slightly more cooperative than the previous Joker we've had. But as you get used to him and actually play to him, you realize he's unhinged in a different way.
That's crazy.
Not only has he got to figure himself out.
Okay, the laugh is really good. Can we go back and hear that laugh? Watch.
He's slightly more cooperative than the previous Joker we've had. But as you get used to him and actually play to him, you realize he's unhinged in a different way.
Did he just like straight up shoot somebody?
Used to him and actually play to him, you realize he's unhinged in a different way.
Not only
That's
has he got
insane.
to figure himself out, but he's figuring out his place in this new world and this new squad.
He hadn't reached supervillain status before Brainiac invaded, so, you know, he's still a bit less experienced.
I think we've taken him back to the kind
And
of
a younger
more
Joker.
vaudeville roots of Joker. He's masking insecurities with traditional Joker behavior. But deep down, he's not sure who he is yet.
Lock him up. Oh, making new friends after a move is always tough.
As your mission expands deeper into the lore of the DC universe, this new version of the Joker will join your fight with his unique combat, traversal, and weaponry.
His traversal is all based around a rocket-powered umbrella, which he can blast himself into the air, and then uses that to glide around, and then he can actually...
Dude, this is insane traversal. All right, so first of all, the traversal for every character has been like really good and really satisfying. As I've said before, I think Harley Quinn's might be a little bit of a learning curve, and I wasn't super into it, but I think I just understand that it's going to be something that takes time for me to get good at, and I'm potentially going to need to upgrade it and go from there. But yeah, just look at how, and also like major props to the animation team on this. Like these animations are so smooth and so satisfying. Like we gotta like round of applause, man. Like just we might have to watch this very short segment here like a few times. Check this out.
It's all based around a rocket-powered umbrella, which he can blast
Look at
himself.
that. So first he does the wall run, which every character has like a way to traverse up the side of a building.
Into the air.
Then he stands on the umbrella.
Rocket-powered umbrella, which he can blast himself.
So he does that. Then, yeah, there's like a
Into
little
the air.
spin. Just look at that. The way he like does the splits in the air. And then now he, like, slides on the umbrella, then hangs off of it upside down and glides. And glides on it. Like, it's just so wacky and dexterous at the same time. It's just really cool.
Uses that to glide around, and then he can
he hangs from it, and then you can of course probably shoot,
knocking enemies out of the way.
Okay, so he can use it to like ram into enemies as well, knock them off center. So yeah, once again, everybody has this kind of wall run activity. You know, right here, you'll see it, wall run,
and the kind of frantic.
And then, of course, this is sort of his, like, big heroic ability. Everyone kind of has, like, a thing to either clear a crowd with, like, an AoE attack, or there's, like, a takedown move, you know, all these various things.
Vertical and horizontal energy that he has means you've always got...
I don't know, maybe it's more like a mace or something than a
vertical and horizontal energy that he has means you've always got to be moving and always attacking the enemies.
Like a ball and chain there.
The Joker is...
I don't know, that's just really interesting the way he's wielding that. See, in some ways he uses it like it's a Kusarigama, but... I don't know.
The Joker is only the first of the new squad recruits you could meet through the ongoing additions to our game.
Over time, we can build up a library of characters that DC fans might not have expected to see in a video game.
Okay, so they're already kind of hinting that they're going to bring in characters that you might not expect to see. I think them showing this means that either there's going to be some incarnation of Mr. Freeze or Killer Frost, maybe, which could be really cool. I think Kong brings up an interesting point here. He says, I don't know how I feel about Joker being a part of the Suicide Squad. I'm here for it. I think we talked about this with Avengers, where it was like some of my favorite characters are not necessarily mainline Avengers. Like a lot of the characters that I wanted to see were like Daredevil, Punisher, Doctor Strange, while some of them team up with the Avengers or join the Avengers temporarily, or maybe they're part of like a separate group like the Midnight Suns, or maybe they're part of the Defenders, or, you know, various things. I still think that the Avengers game would have been the perfect setting to just bring in Marvel characters a la carte. And I kind of think you could do the same thing here, although you're not going to bring in heroes, probably, because I think this game is largely about being a villain, right? So we'll keep it to villains, but not everybody has to be part of the mainline Suicide Squad. So I think it's fair game to just bring in villains, you know? And either some villains could be in opposition to us, or, you know, they could be like, maybe Killer Frost joins, or maybe it's, you know, look at even the movies, how they've brought in, you know, different characters. I could see Peacemaker with the popularity of the TV show and other stuff like that. I could see Peacemaker being added to the game. It'd be a pretty easy shoe-in for when Season 2 drops. So, I don't know. Pretty cool. So, I don't know. At first, I could understand the worry, but I think it's actually a move that makes a lot of sense, and it's really cool. I definitely want to see Deathstroke. Yeah, just as Sky was typing it. Yeah, I was literally already on the wavelength as that message came through. I think some of the characters that we've either talked about was Deathstroke, Peacemaker, I think people were theorizing Killer Croc, but like, how is Killer Croc going to be different than King Shark? I feel like it's too similar. But yeah, I mean, you could pull anyone in from Suicide Squad, you know, comics, TV shows, movies, and kind of bring them in, make it make sense. I don't know. There's a lot to play with there, and I think some people even want Red Hood to come in, but I think he's kind of more into anti-hero, so I don't know. It feels like it would be like treading over, similar ground that we've already been on. I don't know. I mean, you're kind of. I mean, if we're on the same wavelength here. I mean, Avengers done right. Okay, this is annoying. This keeps dragging it downward. Where is it? Yeah, like Ultimate Alliance. I don't think that Avengers needed to mimic that, or that this game needs to mimic that, per se. But I say it's fair game. I think it's fair game. You can bring in whatever villains you want in this game. In Avengers, they could have brought in any of the heroes and just been like, hey, maybe they're just teaming up temporarily. Maybe they're not a mainline Avenger. Like, you can make it make sense in the story. Also, Rick Flag is in this game, and I could see them potentially, twisting it around where it's like, oh, now he's a playable character. I would actually really enjoy that, especially if they could, do something that makes Rick Flag an interesting and compelling character to play as, but he would also require, some method of traversal that allows him to keep up with everyone else, Captain Boomerang has the speed gauntlet. Harley Quinn has the bat grapple and the drone. King Shark, just has, crazy superhuman abilities to jump really high and far, right? And Deadshot has the jetpack. So it's like, what would you give Peacemaker or Rick Flag? But you can see what they did with Joker. They gave him kind of a quirky umbrella, and he's able to just kind of do some silly stuff with it. All right, so let's get back to it here.
Like a regular comic, the DC fan
game.
So yeah, let's
only the first of the new squad recruits you could meet through the ongoing additions to our game.
Over time, we can build up a library of characters that DC fans might not have expected to see in a video game, like a regular comic book release. I look forward to when the next issue's coming out, and in the same way, I hope people will look forward
There's
to the
Rick
next
Flag,
episode.
right there.
I look
He was
forward
at
to
the
when
front.
the next issue's coming out, and in the same way, I hope
Right
people
there.
will look forward to the next episode from us.
Whatever it is, I'm down.
New environments, new characters, missions, challenges, gear, and more. All of this free content.
Once again, the animation team. Check this out.
New environments, new characters, missions, challenges, gear, and more. All of this free content
Just
comes to players who
smoothly.
own the game.
He's going to be really fun to play
We
as.
can't wait for you to see what the future holds. With Elseworlds, the possibilities are endless.
That's crazy.
Like that?
Thanks for watching this series. We hope you'll join us for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, a third-person action shooter where some of the wildest villains of DC Comics join forces to save the world from its greatest heroes.
That basically says it right there, that all bets are off, any villain could show up, open the gates.
That's mental.
And they could justify it using the multiverse.
Cool. Yeah.
Gonna get wild.
I think players are going to be surprised about the depth to which they can craft a character.
It comes back to player choice and player freedom.
Everything from melee strikes into gunplay,
There's
which
Black
you can then go
Mask.
into a traversal attack. All of the
So
combat,
they
everything
kind of
from-
alluded this in previous videos that we were gonna have gear that gives us effects of Bane's venom. There's stuff here where it's like Black Mask damage or Mr. Freeze, freeze damage is happening, whatever it may be. It's pretty cool the way this is all working. So all the Easter eggs, all the references to other characters, it could be interesting.
melee strikes into gunplay, which you could then
Actually, now that I think about it, if they did like Killer Frost, I think they should go Killer Frost instead of Mr. Freeze. Or they could do... Well, they were mentioning Heat Wave. I think they were mentioning that you could get like, flame gear that is like inspired by Heat Wave. I don't know, they could do Captain Cold, couldn't they? But it'd be stacked up with like too many male characters, so it almost makes sense to go like Killer Frost. But like you could maybe use Killer Frost, like, you know, she could like create ice platforms with her hands or something, you know, or use that to like levitate and fly around or something. It could be interesting. I'm already seeing how you could create, you know, because obviously, like I said, if you're going to be Killer Frost, well, okay, well, I don't know if Killer Frost uses like freeze weapons though, so maybe Captain Cold is better, or Mr. Freeze, because they do use weapons, right? Tricky. But yeah, you would have to justify, how are they going to traverse? Is he going to use like a freeze gun and make like a slide or something? I don't know. Like, so you have to think about all that. How are they going to be designed traversal wise to fit into the game with other characters? And then, of course, everybody has to use guns in this game, so you have to think about DC villains that historically use guns, or would be willing to use guns. You know, they're not entirely melee focused. That's why I think Deadshot is a ringer, dude. He would be 100% perfect for this game, you know, with the sword, and then also with, you know, potentially grenade launchers, assault rifles, whatever. You know, sniper rifles, whatever you want to give them. Which there's a lot of
all of the combat
options
flow
there.
seamlessly into another.
Yeah, the combat is dope.
Squad can be garish, they can be loud, and playing together with your friends in a multiplayer space is a really unique experience that you can't get anywhere else.
What we've done with the Suicide Squad is to really expand those experiences. Not only just one character this time around, we've done it with 4, and we plan to do it with more.
This brings back memories of
More.
my old Suicide Squad.
Whether you're in for the main story or exploring what lies beyond, Rocksteady Studios is here to support our players while delivering exciting new experiences. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at launch February 2nd, 2024.
That's crazy. February 2nd. I really don't think there's too much to go back over. I mean, we do know
their playstyle.
We do know that Toyman.
How Suicide Squad killed
Yeah,
the
I
Justice
just wanted to see the
allows
menu.
players to customize each character.
I just wanted to see blade, bludgeon, wrist cans, boomerang. Right. So your firearms, melee weapons, shield mods, traversal mods, grenades, neck bomb mods, and lucky charms. So yeah, you can see how you're going to go to Toyman as a merchant to like modify stuff here. I think as far as I know, all the guns are using like real bullets, or they're using like, you know, technologically advanced stuff, you know, like freeze bullets and whatever, you know, all sorts of things. So I haven't seen anything that's suggested like rubber bullets or anything like that.
Character.
And no clue. They might actually kill the Justice League. I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out.
Man, if you gave me 5 minutes in there, you'd have the world's authority on my...
There's Rick Flag once again, which I think his design's actually really cool. I definitely like the way they've captured his look. Let me make sure. I think I just saw like a few things. Maybe that was it. Yeah, and then I got into the thing about the competitive leaderboards. I mean, yeah. The customization looks good. Cosmetics look good. Yeah, I think everything they showed here just has me even more excited for this game. I think it's a
new playable character for your squad.
Now, okay, so everyone was whining about the UI, but you can turn that off. You can customize it as much as you want it to be. I did feel like it was a little cluttered. The HUD was a little cluttered, but it was giving you the information you needed to know. So it's kind of fair game, but I would probably turn off some things. I'd turn off like the mini map and, you know, maybe various objectives. Damage numbers can be turned off. So yeah, all that's pretty customizable. So that's not a concern. I think that was just the internet and of course game journalists, you know, sort of running wild with stuff, you know, trying to drag this game down for, just anything, which is ridiculous to me. So yeah, I think that's a good thing to actually address, and I think it's good that they're ahead of the curve on that, because that was even in the alpha when I played it. You were able to see that, so pretty cool. But yeah, I would make some tweaks to the UI for sure. I would try it out first, again, see what changes they made between the alpha and here at launch, what it looks like. And, once you kind of get used to stuff, you're like, I don't really need this information here. I don't need to know, how many waves of enemies I have to fight, or I don't need to see the damage numbers if I'm not geeking out about numbers, or maybe that gets in the way of my experience of the game, stuff like that.
At least buy me dinner first.
But I really like these
the original
animations.
Arkham vs. Joker has been dead for 5 years, but this is a new Elseworlds.
Yo, take care, Sky. Thanks for hanging out. I think next we're gonna take a look. I want to kind of scroll through the Q&A that they did in the Suicide Squad Discord. I'm gonna actually bring that up and let's talk about it for a minute. But yeah, Suicide Squad Elseworlds looking pretty dope. All right. And I'll just kind of do like summaries and cliff notes here. We're not going to like spend hours reading through the Q&A because I know there's a lot of information here. Let's see. Someone was curious about the design process for the traversal of the squad. How do you decide what tools they use to move around Metropolis, such as Joker's rocket-powered umbrella? How could traversal also be used, not just for, getting around the environment, but also as a tool in combat encounters? How do we want the character to play? What makes the character different from other characters in terms of play style and strengths and weaknesses? And what would suit that character's personality? So once we have a general idea, we put this through our character design framework where we have all the character's traits and mechanics, and we ensure that they are a good fit. Cool. Look at their weapon loadouts and select what we feel will offer the best experience when combined with their enhanced traversal and intended and desired engagement distance. Once their loadouts settled on, we begin working on talents for them, enhance and synergize their traversal and offensive capabilities. Joker loves explosions, so not only are there ways to lean into the grenade damage builds, but also to enhance his own explosive umbrella for additional movement. Joker also loves to burn things, so you'll find some talents in there that thrive on setting the world on fire. Or players can build in the Joker's unique umbrella grind mechanic and maximize crit opportunities, flipping the umbrella over and grinding along rooftops, which was when he rode it like a skateboard or whatever. He knocks enemies up in the air as he collides with them, which then offers juggle kill opportunities for continuous crit damage before blasting back into the air, seamlessly blending between traversal into combat and then back into traversal. So I know people were looking at the combat system and they were saying, okay, well, this just looks like Fortnite or whatever. You're just jumping really high and shooting guns, and occasionally you're doing little melee hack and slash attacks. Well, no. There's actually deeper things at play here, and these very sentences here get into details about how there's, traversal attacks, there's melee attacks, there's your ranged weaponry, there's your grenades. There's the crit damage that you do with special rounds as sort of a critical counterattack, which is also really handy. Let's see. Each character shines in different areas. There isn't a best character per se, but there will be the best for you, one that matches your play style, and this was important for us. There will always be a character that fits the way you want to play. That's cool. Let's see. Okay, here we go. The Joker, which you designed and introduced to us all the way back in 2009, became a fan favorite of the Arkham series. Now in 2024, we are getting a new Elseworld Joker. I want to ask, what was the process to designing for designing another Joker again. Was it exciting, and did it give you all nostalgia? Let me just tweak something real quick here. All right, it's just getting a little hot in here. So let's go try get back to where I want to be. Okay. All right, so about the Joker, right? Arkham Joker is iconic, from his look to Mark Hamill's BAFTA award-winning performance. We wanted our Joker to stand on his own one foot. I can't believe that. And be his own person. As you can see, the art teams have done an amazing job on his look. He feels put together, so although he's a Joker, he has the Joker smudged makeup. This feels intentional. His outfit is showy and over the top, and this runs through into his traversal as well. As to performance, we have the amazing J.P. Carliak voicing Joker, and honestly, his ad-libs in session were often better than what we've written, so he really helped us to develop this Joker. That's really cool. That's like a really good sign there. I think that's really cool to read. What happened to Elseworld Joker's leg? They responded to this question, like all Jokers, our boy loves bombs, and as is the one of the Joker, he is not the most safety conscious when it comes to their detonation. That's crazy. So he probably blew his own leg off. Let's see. You guys have announced seasons 1 through 4, including new characters such as the Joker and new content such as weapons and maps. What can we expect in terms of new main story missions or side story missions? New cutscenes, new mission types? Rocksteady is known for its superb storytelling and voice performances, and I hope we can expect to see more of that in the endgame content. Let's see. We're going to continue to tell story through cutscenes for new characters, as well as new content for them in the Hall of Justice and audio logs going into greater detail about the relationships you might not otherwise see. From a narrative perspective, the core of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is the relationships within the squad, from the cutscenes to the in-game banter. How they respond to each other and how that develops over time is key. So getting the opportunity to throw new characters into the mix is exciting. Harley has history with Arkham Joker, so getting past her initial gut reaction to our Joker and accepting him for who he really is going to be hard for her. Most of the others instantly come to the not wrong conclusion that they need to be careful around Joker. Boomerang's terrified of him. Deadshot has no time for his nonsense. And King Shark is fascinated. Okay. How does the Battle Pass work? Okay, this is the big question right here. We received a lot of questions about the Battle Pass, and there's a lot to cover here, so I'll try to break it all down. The Battle Pass in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be cosmetics only. We have a premium and a free track, and the new Battle Pass will be released with each season. The first Battle Pass will be released with the launch of Season 1 a few weeks after the game's initial release. There will be 75 tiers to complete in Season 1's Battle Pass, and included within will be outfits, emotes, banners, swatches, which would be colors, and some premium currency. This can be used to purchase cosmetic items in the store or go towards purchasing future premium battle passes. So much like Avengers, it was like they gave you a currency that allowed you to purchase the other battle passes without having to like spend money. So interesting. Okay. We're happy to announce that you'll be able to go back and play previous battle passes after a season ends. So Halo Infinite did this. Another live service game, technically, right? And I believe they have the best system for battle passes, because you can go back and play any battle pass from any season and unlock any of the cosmetics from that. Now, that did exclude stuff from events in Halo Infinite, but that's neither here nor there. So, here we go. You will be able to go back and play previous battle passes after a season ends. We believe that our team has created some of the best looking cosmetic items ever, and we want those to be available for our players and to enjoy without fear that they will miss out on anything. That is awesome. As a reminder, each season will have a brand new playable character. So each season will have a new character, Each season will have 2 episodes. That's what we know so far. New playable character, new Elseworld to explore, loads of new gear, new missions to play, and more, all for free. The Premium Battle Pass is an optional extra for those who want to look extra fly while kicking some Brainiac butt. And keep in mind, the purchasable items are completely optional and do not affect gameplay in any way. So once again, they're getting out in front of it. There have been other games where there were questions raised about, oh man, what if this, messes with this? Or, oh man, I really hate it when, certain games have pay to win features. They're just saying, hey, no, not happening. All right. Let's see. Moving into the end game. Is end game also possible to do solo? The dev responds with 100% yes. All the content and missions we have in the game can be played solo or in any group configuration, 2, 3, 4 players. Let's see. Taste of Finite Crisis at the recent stream event. Finite Crisis, or Finite Crisis, is what we call the end game at launch. We wanted our end game content to be as accessible as possible, where if your friend can't log on, you can still play it and progress on your own. If the 4th player in your 4-player squad couldn't make it because they had the audacity to have a life outside of the game, it won't stop the rest of you from playing if you choose to keep going. When you're playing the game solo, you're still not on your own, though. You have your 3 trusted AI-controlled squad members around. They will use the gear you give them and whatever talents you have unlocked, which can make them pretty powerful. And then there's the social squad feature where you can bring in your friends, top leaderboard players, or famous streamers, characters into your squad. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, you could bring me into your squad. Let's see. We all love playing games, but we also have lives, sort of. And that's been a big part of our design philosophy making this game. We don't want the game to feel like a life commitment or be a game where you have to sacrifice a lot to see all the content on offer, or feel like you're not making good progress in the game if you can't play hundreds of hours. We want the game to be generous both to your time and with all the features we have to offer. This is really important because I feel like Avengers address that properly, whereas games like Destiny and The Division often do not respect your time as a gamer. If you want to be the best in some of those games, you have to absolutely know life. You have to play everything there is to play, even the really difficult stuff. You have to form, groups of players in order to do raids and other things like that. And it blocks out a lot of the average players or the solo players or people that, maybe just have a 3-man squad instead of a 4-man squad, whatever it may be, right? So I think it's important that this game, seems to be engineered in a way where it's, once again, this is Live Service Masterclass 101. They are respecting your time, and I think that's a win. Okay, so let me catch where I was here. Even our toughest content, the Mayhem mission that culminates in an epic boss fight, are playable solo, 2-player, 3-player, or 4-player, as are all our endgame mastery levels. The leaderboards also reflect this flexibility, where there's a leaderboard for each endgame mission for solo, 2, 3, and 4-player. Cool. Yeah. Do I have control over pre-roll ads when people join the stream, or is that only on Twitch it can be controlled? So I think in some ways YouTube has control over that, but basically what I do, and I'm being super transparent here, is that I have it set on like a 30-minute like automatic timer where it just kind of rolls an ad every 30 minutes or so, which, I mean, I need to make money in order to keep doing this. I enjoy doing this, but also, I need to generate revenue to keep up with the equipment, the video games, to also stay alive and stuff like that. So yeah, there is a little bit of it, and there is also an element it also warns me when I check it. It's like there's kind of an element of randomness where not all people will get an ad right as they come in, and not all people will get an ad at the exact same time at the exact same 30-minute mark, because obviously people are going to come in at different segments. So yeah, it does, when you do hit YouTube Partner, you do have sort of some elements of control with how you choose to run things, and it's usually just up to the streamer to decide what they want to do, or even with your standard videos, to decide when the ad breaks could potentially come in. Of course, you can have your own ads where you can promote your own stuff embedded in the video, possibly. Yeah, I don't know that there is a way to disable pre-roll. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. And it is kind of a bummer, because I get it. I watch a lot of Twitch streams myself, and it can be a super bummer when you come in and the first thing you say is like, "Hey, how's it going? Good to see you." And then, you get hit with like 3 minutes of ads or whatever. And, and then you've missed the streamer greeting you and asking you questions, and, you miss out on the whole conversation. So yeah, it can be an issue, but I don't know if I have much control or complete control over stuff like that. But yeah, I can understand it, but I think if you realize that, creators have to monetize their content in some way or another, YouTube, even though it is free as a viewer and you can get a lot of value for watching everything for free, just watching a quick ad is a really great way to support someone without having to necessarily go hit the donate button or sign up for a membership or whatever, depending on the value presented there. So yeah, kind of an interesting thing, but I'll look into it. I appreciate you bringing it up, but yeah, I think the pre-roll is probably, for the most part, it might be out of my control, but I'll double check it. No, I appreciate it. Hopefully that was helpful. And what short were you watching? Let me know, man. I'm always curious to see which one kind of brings people in. It's always kind of fun. Yeah, YouTube, right? Pre-roll happens often, even if it's not a live stream. Yeah, because it will happen for videos and stuff. Let's see. We're going through the Q&A here. How much of loot build progression will be RNG based? Is there an expectation players will repeat certain missions or activities dozens of times to get the rarest gear and stat rolls? Oh boy, here we go. I'm gonna kind of skim through it a little bit. Loot progression in our game doesn't revolve around gear score or item power or any power creep like that. Interesting. When you get a piece of loot early in the game, it's as viable throughout the entire progression. What? How viable it is will be up to you, your playstyle, and how well that loot synergizes with your build. Huh. Okay, this kind of addresses Kong's concern, which was like... Kong's concern is like, I don't want to have to replay missions over and over to grind for gear. Kong really just doesn't want to have to grind at all. But I think there will be some elements of grind here, but I think they are sort of addressing the idea here with... So I guess, let's say you get, a legendary sniper rifle for Deadshot, it drops at whatever level, you get it early on in the game. They're saying here that you could continue to use that throughout your playthrough. So that's always the bummer when you're playing a lot of looter shooters and a lot of games like this where a certain weapon drops early on in the game, but maybe it's like a legendary or exotic weapon, and now it's useless to you because now you're level 26 or whatever, Bummer. Thanks. Let's see. Halo 2 cutscenes have been popping up mad since I watched some Halo vids. Oh no, dude, the algorithm is hitting you bad, man. So was it the Sergeant Johnson video? Because I mean that one's been popping off, dude. That one's been popping off crazy. Unless it's DMZ, of course. Yeah, DMZ was really good experimentation of how you could take something that is inherently repetitive, but give you reasons to keep going back in, right? Oh, what's up, High Howler? Yeah, man. Kind of interesting. Okay. Loot philosophy is to strike a balance between the joy of getting items with really good augments, while at the same time give you the power to perfect that piece of gear to suit your playstyle and build. All the loot in our game can have a set number of augments, basically additional stats, and that is based on the rarity. And each augment can come in one of 3 levels of power: uncommon, rare, or epic. To give you an example, on an uncommon piece of loot, there can be only 1 augment, but that augment itself can be uncommon, rare, or epic. On a rare piece of loot, there can be 1 to 2 augments, and on an epic, there can be 1 to 3 augments. For legendary, infamy sets, and notorious loot, which these are like endgame stuff, there can be 2 to 3 augments. It gives plenty of opportunity to get an item with a pretty good roll. However, like I said, we don't want it to be frustrating to get gear drops with augments that don't fit your build. That's why we have features like Penguin's Crafting and Overhaul, Toyman's Modification, Totes, T-O-T-E-S, some sort of acronym, Totes, and Eliting, and finally Poison Ivy's Supercharging. Okay, so they got a lot of options here for build crafting. Crafting is what you would expect, and all loot you earn through the story are also added as crafting recipes, so you can easily craft them if you happen to get rid of an item you earned early in the game. Overhaul re-rolls all the augments on a piece of loot, which gives you a way to re-roll the item without worrying about having to do sacrifices to the loot gods to try to get that piece of loot again. Man, they're really listening, man. They're taking what annoys me about Destiny and the Division. So I wonder what will keep us playing the game. But yeah, let's keep reading before we, jump to assumptions here. Modification lets you re-roll any augment on an item, and you get to pick from 3 new random augments or keep the one you have. Once you've re-rolled that augment, you're locked into just being able to re-roll that augment. If you re-roll an uncommon augment on an item, then you're locked into only being able to re-roll the uncommon augment for another uncommon augment. Totes lets you re-roll an augment, but it lets you pick the augment you want to roll from a list of possible augments. So where modification presents you with a list of random augments with random stat changes, Totes will let you straight up pick the augment you want to roll, and then you get to pick from a list of 3 permutations of that augment. Eliting is insanely powerful because this unlocks the ability to modify or totes not just one augment, but all augments on the item. In short, Eliting gives you the control to perfect augments of an item to suit your build and playstyle. Supercharging lets you upgrade the afflictions on an item to make its effect last even longer on enemies. Okay, so that's a lot of information, and that's probably a little nauseating in some ways. But I think when we get a hold of the game, I think once we start looking through the menus, I think visually it'll make more sense. Because, I mean, right now we're having to, read it and kind of imagine how all this works and figure out the very narrow differences between these various terms here. But I think once we get hands-on with the game and start looking at, what modification does, what overhauling does, what crafting does, what totes and eliting and all these various things are. So, it's interesting. Customize your gear's firearm upgrades. Once unlocked in the story, an uncommon, rare, epic, or legendary firearm levels up when you use it, and you earn points that can be applied to 5 different categories of firearm attributes: accuracy, stability, zoom, reload speed, and mag size. Each of these attributes can be upgraded up to 3 times. The maximum points available on a firearm depends on the rarity. where a legendary firearm can get up to 15 levels, which makes it possible to maximize all the attributes on that firearm if you use it long enough. That reminds me of Destiny 1. The first Destiny game had, like, when you unlock a new weapon, you would, like, use it to level it up and unlock the perks that were available on it. So yeah, that's kind of what this reminds me of, is like when you find your gun that you just love, and even Division has it where you can like level up your gun and unlock, you know, progression levels with that weapon. So you sort of create a bond with the weapon, you level it up, you know, make it more powerful in certain ways, you unlock stuff. Infamy set firearms and Notorious firearms cannot be upgraded. Sorry, we want these to feel really unique and fit the personality of the DC villain they're infused with, but don't worry, they're plenty strong enough already. What type of new quest design can we expect in terms of endgame quests? I'm going to try to skim this so I don't lose my voice. We're only like halfway through the Q&A. The builds you can find and construct will essentially fundamentally change the way you play the game. Game is pretty full on chaos and mayhem for the poor squad members. They thrive on that. Interplay with player builds, as the Ivy's Garden Party missions are where there's a set of affliction active, means you can use Poison Ivy's plants to trigger affliction burst that affects all the enemies hit, giving you a free affliction in that mission. Okay, adapt the build around that and pick 2 different afflictions or gear that takes advantage of the affliction Ivy's plants can activate. Another example is the Skull Ship Jammin' missions. There's a bonus criteria that increases how fast you can charge the beacon, and those criteria lean into, example, critical hit kills, or shield harvest kills, or suicide strike kills. That's crazy. Don't want to spoil too much of what we're adding. Each episode includes a whole new endgame chase themed around a DC villain, which will be bigger and better than the Finite Crisis endgame that you'll be playing at launch. Each episode will have 3 full tiers of infamy sets, a whole slew of notorious items and legendary items that will revolve around the theme of the episode. Each infamy set villain brings along plenty of notorious villains that fit the theme. Keep an eye out for those. Okay. Our first episode, we are adding 6 incursion missions, 6 stronghold missions, new killing time themes and encounters, and basically, finally, a new mayhem mission that culminates in a unique boss fight. That's pretty cool. Someone asked what builds the team use. Oh, this is interesting. Assault Rifle, Traversal Mod, and Talent for Deadshot makes him one of the funnest experiences I've had. Shooting Star gives you guaranteed crits once you've been airborne for 5 seconds. Offset reduces your jetpack heat buildup with every kill. So that's actually really cool. One of the things I was struggling with when I was playing as various characters, and especially Deadshot, was that your jetpack would like run out of energy after a while. Now you can upgrade it, but what it says here is that Offset reduces the jetpack overheating when you get a kill. That's cool. Free refills automatically reloads after you get 4 crits. That's pretty cool. You see where this is going. You don't stop flying. You don't stop shooting. Honestly, feel bad for Brainiac when I use this build. That's crazy. And that's only 3 slots out of the 8 used too. It wouldn't kill me to give Axel a compliment. I'd say he was cooking with this game. That's cool. Will there be a way to replay the campaign? Yes, absolutely. You can replay the whole story or jump back and replay your favorite mission. Maybe you want to replay the story as Joker. Maybe you want to fight the Flash over and over as a different squad members. Those options are available. If you want a tougher New Game Plus type challenge, then we have our Metropolis Invasion levels. When you start the game, you have standard, easy, medium, and hard difficulty levels. Once the main story's been completed, we unlock 5 additional difficulty levels above hard. You have to complete missions while playing on Invasion level to unlock the next higher level. This means you can replay the whole story and increase the challenge as you go if you're good enough to survive. Invasion levels not only increase the difficulty, but also the rewards on whatever parts of the story you're playing. And there might be some unique legendary items and master versions of familiar items when you play on the higher invasion levels. So I know Kong was concerned about, oh man, I don't want to have to replay things over and over, but I see the value in cranking up the difficulty and rerunning the entire campaign or maybe specific missions in order to get you, some sort of piece of gear that you're after. So I don't know. I see that as a win. And if the campaign's really good, then we'll probably have a really good time going back and replaying this. So, okay. Plus sign there. Clans seem to be an interesting part of the game that promotes teamwork and competitiveness. Could you guys go into more detail? Benefits of being in a clan. Suicide Squad. Trying to get the gist of what clans are. They have a leaderboard for the clan members. Rival taunts. Your squad bots get filled with members of your clan if you want. Okay. Clan has daily and weekly challenges. Completing these will earn clan XP that will rank up the clan. So we could make our own clan, right? Like, that would be really fun just for everybody to play together here on the channel. Also have an individual rank within the clan that increases with how active they are and how much they contribute to ranking up the clan. Unlocks rewards for the clan. These rewards benefit all members of the clan and range from cosmetics like unique clan banners to XP bonuses and resource bonuses. Okay. A weekly clan care package. Yeah, I mean, this stuff kind of feels more or less straight what Destiny kind of does with clans. Okay. Yeah, I dig that. Interesting. What do you mean here, Kong? Kind of help me understand this sentence here, because I kind of get it, but I also don't. Let's see. That's understandable because you progress the game. I feel like grinding somewhat of you at a standstill. You're giving unnecessary hours to a game that doesn't deserve it. I mean, I'm trying to understand like what you're saying. I feel like I'm only getting bits and pieces of what this means. I think it can be really repetitive and not enjoyable when you have to replay same missions over and over and over, and you're like grinding to get that one gear piece. But I think they've already kind of explained that like we're not gonna have to do that too much. So I wonder, will there be a certain point where it's like I've grinded, I've gotten every piece of gear, I've leveled up all my characters, I have a perfect build for all the characters that I want to have. You just put the game down and wait for the next content. And that's probably for people like really, invested in the game. Not everyone will do that. Some people will just beat the story and wait for the next stuff. So what I'm saying, okay, let's bring it up here. So what I'm saying is grinding in this game feels like you're moving the story forward, whereas grinding in other games feels like a constant repeat of the same thing. I think you're going to get a little bit of both in this. Because I think you might very well have to go back and replay missions at higher difficulties. Obviously, these various post-game missions that we unlock. We'll probably have to replay those. You know, it seems like there's weekly and daily challenges for clans. I mean, it seems like stuff that wants you to continually get active and invest your time in the game. Okay, so another one here. Don't mind grinding the game as long as the story ends and then going back and doing it again. A lot of games make you grind and you get nowhere in the story or there's no story at all. Yeah, it kind of feels like this game's really going to capitalize on that. So maybe that won't be such a concern. I really feel like they're getting ahead of this. I mean, how do you guys feel? Like, Kong, do you feel like they've addressed some of your concerns even without you having, you know, you obviously haven't spoken to the dev team, I would think. I don't know, maybe you have. But yeah, it just seems, it seems like they're getting ahead of stuff, you know? And addressing things that make a lot of sense. Know how to turn off. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so we read about clans. I'm going to try to wrap this up kind of shortly here. Can your friend join midway through the playthrough? Opening the friends, you can do drop in, drop out throughout most of the story and beyond. There's a few exceptions. The player trying to join will be held in a queue and will enter the game at the next available opportunity. If you're in a private session, you can send a squad invite to a friend. Okay. Elseworld missions, you have to have your party locked in beforehand. If you're going to get rewards from our most challenging missions, you need to have been there from the start. It's only fair. Okay, so yeah, you can't like do the whole mission and then invite your buddy at the very end and let them get the loot for doing like zero work, right? Game allows you to play with your friends even if they are in a different part of the story. If your friend's at the start of Chapter 3 and you just started Chapter 2, you can progress with them through Chapter 3, and all the progress will, of course, be saved. When you go back to continue your story in Chapter 2 and complete that chapter, the game will recognize that you already completed some of Chapter 3 and will give you the option to skip parts you've already played with a friend. That's good, but I'm kind of curious about the leveling. Once again, I still have that concern of if I want to switch characters, am I going to be like really behind in terms of leveling and stuff like that? Kong says, okay, this is actually really important. Kong says, I'm excited. This is so good to read, dude. I'm excited. They really are handling everything I was concerned about. Cool. And then the last thing he says right here is, I have no idea who was talking to them, but this game of service makes us feel heard for once. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. What's up, Rodney? How you doing? I'm doing pretty well, man. We are doing a deep dive. We assessed the Elseworlds trailer for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and now I am in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Discord, kind of rooting through the Q&A here that the devs have done. The community's been able to ask questions, and the devs have been able to provide answers about how things will work. So that's really cool how progression works. You know, you can play together and, you know, your progress can carry on into your own individual save. And, of course, you know, whatever levels you earn on your character, you know, maintains on your character. Let's see. Matchmaking. Matchmaking themes for public games. You can more easily find players who want to play similar content. Includes unlocking additional mastery bracket themes. Okay, so essentially maybe some sort of LFG thing here? Where matchmaking themes. So you can essentially say like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Let's join up and get it done. The competition between the devs regarding who the best player is. Share more concepts about the Justice League, concept art. We have a roadmap of content mapped out in the seasons, right? Okay, so Season 1 begins in March 2024. We have new boss fights. It looks like Green Lantern and Superman will be fully corrupted by Brainiac. Joker's Daily Cackle playable environment. New DC villain-themed weapons. 2 episodes. One episode has a Two-Face picture, and the other one has a Scarecrow picture. So, Batman villains. New activities and strongholds. New Riddler content. And Joker is a playable character. Seasons 2, 3, and 4 will have 3 new playable characters, 3 new playable environments, weapons, themed gear sets, activities, and mid-season updates, and more. And as long as you have the base game, you're good to go. So that's pretty good. Like 4 seasons in the first year, each lasting about 3 months. So I mean that's 4 new characters. I think that's pretty solid. All episodes will be playable once they've ended. You can always go back and get that notorious weapon you need to complete your build, or chill in an alternate version of Metropolis corrupted by the DNA of a mentally unstable clown. Okay, interesting. Will some items be exclusive to the shop, and will some outfits be available to unlock through gameplay? Do Riddler AR challenges. Outfits will be unlocked by progressing through the story, which can be worn at any time after being earned. Cosmetic items that can be earned in the Battle Pass or purchased in the store. As stated above, Battle Passes from previous seasons will be available to purchase and progress after the season has ended. Pins, trinkets, and dolls. King Shark talking about great white shark doll, and that sound playing a little something like this. Huh. Okay, any way we can get more customization in the UI. For launch, you can control the visibility of these things. HUD minimap, aiming reticle, larger persistent center dot, enemy health bars, health bar prompts, damage numbers, player markers, player names, incoming damage indicators, dynamic tutorials, combat flare challenges, full screen effects, health and shield effects. From episode 1, we'll be adding more nuanced control over health and shield bars, XP bar, mission objectives, D-pad input prompts, traversal attack, suicide strike, and squad ultimate abilities, HUD input prompts, and traversal bars. Our hope is that you will help us develop this further during live, so that we're looking forward to your feedback. Okay, makes sense. So yeah, once again, you know, fully customizable UI seems to be something they're looking at. 2 episodes per season. Was an episode supposed to be exactly from a design standpoint? Each episode is different from the last. Suicide Squad gains access to Brainiac's previously conquered Elseworlds to take the fight to him. Players will access not only a new squad member to their roster, but a whole new Elseworld to explore. Okay, try not to like retread over, you know, stuff that they've already told us. Yeah. One last question. Final thoughts before players get it in their hands. An exciting time in the life of a project, a whirlwind of emotions. Get to share this wonderful thing we've created with you all, and it now belongs as much to all you as it belongs to us. We're beyond excited to get to develop the game further together with you all. Discord community's been a really special place in the run-up to launch. On behalf of everyone at Rocksteady, I want to thank you for coming on this ride with us. Send our game into the world. What we get back is the chance to see people doing the thing we always wanted, playing the game and having fun. Game takes on a life of its own once released, and I can't wait to see how this one takes shape. We're all stoked to finally get to share the game with you all. Hope to see you all in Metropolis next week. Pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, I feel like everything has been addressed and more. Except for, I think the one thing that I'm still unsure about is if I just choose during my playthrough to quit playing as Deadshot and I want to be Captain Boomerang, how will my experience transfer over? Will I have to start over at square one? Am I halfway through the campaign with a level 1 a level 1 Captain Boomerang? You know, am I just gonna really enjoy the game less because my friends are higher level players, but because I switched, now I'm a low level player? I don't know. It's interesting. So I don't know. You gotta the thing there. We have to learn to be respectful of others. Let's see. So yeah, I think that answers it all for me. So I'm actually gonna add that into the title. Live react. Elseworlds. And Discord Q and A. Okay, we'll go from there. Yeah, dude. I mean, just be nice. Glad that Ubisoft belonged to no one. Yeah, I mean, those comments were really interesting. I think they were talking in terms of getting people into the Ubisoft subscription service. And in order to do that, people would have to become more comfortable with, you know, not owning their games, essentially. Which, I mean, it's the same thing with Netflix, right? Netflix gets you in a comfy spot to be comfortable not purchasing movies on disc anymore, right? Because, oh, it's all right here. And yeah, it does go in and out. So yeah, it was taken out of context, but it's also not a good statement. It's also very bad. So it's a lose-lose regardless. But yeah, it was definitely out of context. And we see where pretty much everything is going. Everything's going digital. You know, Best Buy has said that they're going to reduce their Blu-ray stock, you know, and they're just going to not focus on physical copies of stuff. So, yeah, I think more than ever, dude, I feel like with each new video, each new bit of information that we're learning about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, it gets me more and more excited for the game. I think more details, more information has been an absolute blessing for this game, because I remember at launch, not at launch, I mean, at the reveal, right? We were like, what game is this? What's it going to be like? How's the story going to work? How's the gameplay? It's going to be a live service game? Oh no, we've seen what other live service games do in the space. There were a lot of questions and a lot of assumptions being made, and, you know, looking at gameplay and cutscenes and stuff and jumping to wild conclusions. But I believe that misinformation and making assumptions was this game's true enemy. And I believe the Q&As, the Discord dialogues that they have, the insider episodes, these dev diaries that they're doing here, all of these things serve as bridges to inform players and to get everyone excited about the game and answer questions and, you know, get rid of some of the fears that people have around live service games. Because I do think there is definitely a bit of a tinge, you know, there is a bit of a sour taste people have in their mouths from live service games. You know, some people like me love them, and I can see how when they're done right, they can be incredibly powerful. And this is probably how Avengers should have been done. And I hope Suicide Squad will continue to you know, prosper and hopefully do really well. And I'm excited to play it. So yeah, I guess I'll conclude this live stream. I want to thank you all for joining. Don't forget to hit that like button, ring the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe. Much appreciated. And we will see you on the next one. So take care.